If you got a call from Seattle this morning, Eric, and they said, "What do we do?" you would tell them what?
I think they're Chicago.
I would tell them that you have to begin with the audiences that you can have the most impact on, and there are two of them. There are the airlines, and then there are the governments, because if these audiences are with you, you survive. If these audiences are against you, you have a problem. And so far, the result is mixed. I mean, the good news is you have the American Airlines and the American government behind you. So ultimately, what you have to do is shore up these audiences, because when you see a lot of these things are seen as PR problems, but the solution is not your conventional PR solution. It really is an inside game to keep these audiences with you.
So, but here's the thing. I'm sure there are people inside Boeing right now who say, look, we think, A, we can fix the software problem. We don't even know what really happened on this other aircraft.
Yeah.
And yet you then have all these other governments saying, we just can't even take the chance. And so that's the conundrum here, which was, would you ever recommend, for example, for Boeing to say, you know what, in the next week, until we can actually figure this out, and I don't know if a week is enough, that we would voluntarily just ground everything?
Well, it is always an option, but there are things that they know that we don't. I mean, for example, they probably have some insight that we don't on why this is happening abroad and not in the U.S. They probably have a better sense of training abroad, of air traffic control overseas. So there are variables that they know about. But I really think that
But Eric, if they thought that the training abroad was not up to snuff and wasn't as good as the training in the U.S., I would imagine you would say ground the planes internationally then. I mean, I'm just thinking
yes.
like the Tylenol scare. The whole idea is just take everything off the market until you can figure it out. And that was always considered sort of the blueprint for what to do in the consumer space. Airline, obviously, very different.
We're getting into two other things. First of all, the Tylenol legend is largely a myth. They did not, in fact, recall everything. It took them a week, and they only recalled it when they absolutely had to, when the Tylenol was being pulled off the shelves. So the Tylenol mythology, I don't think, applies here. Yes, I mean, as a precautionary measure, that is something they could do, taking the product off the market. But if they fundamentally don't believe that the errors are what people are saying they are, there is something to be said in bolstering confidence by showing if the plane continues to fly safely in the U.S. and the airlines continue to stay behind them, slowly but surely, other companies will come aboard, because what has to happen here is it all comes down to confidence. And when people see over time that a plane is flying safely without incident, slowly but surely, other people come back. And this is not a PR campaign in the sense that you can educate a mass audience about safety.
But how about the airlines? I mean, arguably, they've got a lot to lose immediately. I mean, just in the three airlines that have the MAX 8 in their fleet, they're all down about 3% apiece. And for Southwest Airlines, it's got the biggest fleet of MAX 8s. MAX 8s only comprise 6% of flying hours, and yet they're feeling the impact on a stock market basis, Eric. I mean, passengers are getting freaked out. I mean, they are looking for the first time in a long time at what sort of plane they're scheduled to be on. And so if you're in the CEO seat of an airline here that is exposed, would you say, hey, you know what? The rest of the world is doing this. Maybe this is our opportunity to say we put passenger safety first and we should voluntarily ground these particular planes, knowing that the impact at maximum for any of these airlines is 6% of flying hours?
Well, my role would be to give them their options, okay? And in crisis management, you have to choose the best of your bad options. One of those options would certainly be to ground the fleet. No question about it. They are clearly making the calculation that they have enough confidence in this plane that the less bad of their options is to keep it out there and to show confidence that the apparatus works. It is not a perfect solution. It is a less bad solution to what they have, because they are clearly confident in the product.